Hello, everyone, and welcome to my webinar for first-time home buyer. Today, we are going to spend about 60 minutes together, an hour together, to go through some of the most important information for first-time home buyer. I believe this information will be extremely valuable to you, and I'm glad that you spend the time together with me. Just wondering where you are at. If you put in the comments while we're waiting for everyone, just put in a comment where you are at and kind of the area of the home that you're looking for. That would be great. I'm excited to see where you are from. My A little bit background about me. My name is Longley. I am here a Chandler agent, local here in Chandler, Arizona. For the last 12 months, my most proud achievement was to be able to save my buyers about $846,000 in purchase price, in concession, and in term of commission as well. A huge saving. Oh, by the way, repairs as well. Okay, so now those are on average, meaning average, I save about $70,000 for every single buyers that I help for the last 12 months. My ranking on Google has been consistent at 5-star review. More than 100 people can testify for that, and I'm very proud also at the have been named ranked number one agent in the region, Chandler, Phoenix metro area for several quarters, several years as well. And I'm very glad today that you spent time with me. I just want to congratulate you because I know that as a self-employed uh, business owner or self-employed personnel, you are very busy. You have a lot of things to worry about. You have your business, you have your family, you have your money to worry about, right? But you do spend time with me today on a Friday, which is so amazing and appreciate that a lot. Okay. Um, I just want to share a little bit about backstory about myself as well, so that you know where I am at. And I'm not coming here to, in the point of pointing out to you, and this is what you have to do. This is that. I just hope that I can give you an advice as a not as an agent, but as a person who already do this uh, from my life. Okay. So before I go through the material of today webinar, I want to share with you a little bit background about me. I came to the US in 2009. After 6 years of following, I've been waiting so long, August, no, 2009, when I came here. When I am 18, I already, 16 actually, I already wait for that. And when I'm 21 or 20 years old and 6 months, I finally came to the US. Okay. Now, when I came to the US, 20 years old and 6 months, my cousin is very nice to me, and they took me to, Sin City, Las Vegas. And I thought that, oh, wow, this is the opportunity for me to, spend time and then become, get familiar with everything that they know about, Las Vegas. But little that I know, I cannot do anything in Las Vegas because I'm 21 years old and 6 months, and I'm busy. When I go to casino, I cannot do anything. I go to show. The show doesn't allow me to come in, so I cannot do anything. So anyhow, that's a funny story when I first came to the US. But then, okay, after my first trip, it's kind of a little bit honeymoon for me, okay, when I came to the US. And then I decided to go back to school. Okay, I was a third year student, engineer student when I was in Vietnam. It's by chance, by the way. One of my friends say, "Hey, Long, let's go to engineering school together." And at that time, because I already in the middle of filing for, paperwork to go to the US, I'm like, okay, great. I don't know what to do anyway, so let's just go with the engineering school. Now, here's a funny story. He didn't go to the engineering school. He changed his mind last minute without telling me, right? But I cannot change it anymore because it's already past the deadline to change and submit the application. So I had to go to the engineering school by accident. So when I came to the US, I don't know anything neither. I don't know. I don't know what career I want. So I also, okay, great. I've been engineering school for 3 years and I do like math, I do like physics. So why don't I do an engineer again? Okay. So I went to engineering school. I went to Mesa Community College for 2 years, then Arizona State University for 2 years, then another year for my master program as a biomedical engineering. I graduated from college in 2016. Okay. Um, and it's typical path for Asian family, right? So then I got a job. Okay, then I got a job for the very popular medical device company. I'm very proud of myself. Okay, becoming an engineer has a job right away after I finished my college, right? 6 years in college, and then in 2016, right at the year that I bought college, there's a lot of things happening. Getting married, 2 times in a row with the same lady. By the way, for those of you who worry, same lady. One wedding is in the US and one wedding is in Vietnam. So that year is extremely busy for me. And I also decided to, get the first house in 2016. Okay. And then something happened. I mean, after all, everything seems to be in the right path of typical Asian family, uh, graduate high school, go to college. Of course, I have to go to college again, but that's typical, right? Because I had to learn from the beginning. None of my credit was transferred from Vietnam. Get a job, getting married, get a house. Very typical. But then after 5 years of working as an engineer, I feel like this is not for me. I don't really enjoy. I mean, the company is great. The environment is great. Everybody I love about that company, right? But I don't really enjoy the job, the days, the in and out of the job, the meeting, the constant meetings that I had to have with with the team member at that time. So I had to find something. I just don't feel it, and I don't feel the passionate in working it, 9 to 5 all the time. So I started looking for something else. And I mean, I start with, adjunct faculty, still an employee, but at least some flexible time on my own, right? Then I start with Uber driving. Then I start, notary agent signing paperwork as a, for the closing escrow, right? It's actually very interesting, when I start doing the notary, things like that. But then I get stuck with, the marketing and the five clients and everything. So then things to an idea like, what about real estate? Since I do notary, right, I can easily transfer to real estate. And at that time, actually, I remember when I bought the first house with the real estate agent. It seems to be a very cool job for me, right? So I took the license. It actually took me 2 months to complete the the course and the exam. Okay, people only take like 2 weeks. It took me 2 months to complete it because I have to work full time and then only a little bit of time to do the courses every day. Okay, but then I passed. Then I helped the first client. I enjoy it. Then I help the second client. I feel it's very important. Like I feel that I'm very, you know, providing useful information to the clients, and I really enjoy it. Especially the first client. I actually, well, the second client. Okay, I actually know her because she came to one of my listing, and she told me about how how bad that her previous real estate agent was, and how she cannot help her out, and asking me to help her out. And we got her a house right on my second second child birthday. It's funny, another story that I have to tell you. But anyway, I really enjoyed that moment. And at that moment, I decide maybe engineer is not for me. Maybe I should become a real estate. And fast forward 3 years after that, I think I decided to become a full-time real estate agent, and I have been enjoy every single moment in this business. You know, people still, other Asian people still don't think this is a good way for me to switch from an engineer stable job to a to a to this typical um, to this unstable job, real estate agent. But I think this is still a great opportunity for me, and I think this is the way for me to express my contribution to all the clients and to all the first time home buyers like you. My point in this story is this: the reason why I didn't feel successful is because I'm afraid of mistake. And I believe that this is the cause for many, many other reasons as well, including buying a house. I'm afraid to make the mistake and I choose the typical route that, a typical people would do as a stable income, and not taking the risk until I realized that later on is too late already. I mean, luckily that I still realize that, right? But afraid of mistake holding everyone, okay, including you, in the decision to buy a house. In fact, I think that is a very valid fear. Okay, a valid fear, because here's the thing: there's many mistakes could happen in the home buying process. Specifically, 32% of the people worry or scare about saving for down payment. 36% of people actually worry or scare about the process and the complicated steps that they have to go through in a real estate transaction. 53% of the people afraid that they choose the wrong house. Every single mistake could cause tremendous problem later on. And that's the reason why I think what you scare about is extremely valid. But I think at the end of the day, the reason for it is the misprioritization. Sorry, I couldn't speak the word. Misprioritization. Comment, put a comment to see whether I have it right or not, right? The reason why a lot of people has that fear in terms of buying a house is the misprioritization, because there's too many things to worry about in the buying in the real estate transaction. And here's my message for you: the decision. Okay, you have to make the decision based on your non-negotiables, and that's what I lack. That's what I was lack as well. I didn't have the right decision about my career. I didn't have the right decision about you know choose an engineer and work for a school. I didn't have the right decision about what could I do next as a business owner, right? In a house is similar. You have to, there's some certain amount of decision that you have to make. And when you make the right decision based on your non-negotiable, you will be able to achieve the goal. Okay. And easier to say than implement, right? What are kind of decision? Because long you told me because misprioritization, but I'm afraid that I'm gonna make the wrong decision. I'm glad that you asked, okay? Because here's the thing: there's seven, actually there's seven decision in real estate. Ultimate goal is the seven decision right here. This is actually one of the strategy I help people, to buy one house and get another one for free, get one for free. Okay, but that is a seven decisions. That's a long-term decision for you, specifically for you, to help you buy the first house. I think there's two most important decision. Number one is about the decision about financing, and number two is the decision at choosing the right house. Those are the two foundation, very important foundation to help you make the right decision, get the first house. Okay. In the scope of today webinar, I do not have time to go all over the seven or maybe the four uh, mm, decision to help you with buying a house, but I do have some free gift for you. I don't leave you for free, don't leave you for nothing, right? There's a free buyer seminar. This is the virtual setup as well, which has all the questions, the most common questions that a lot of home buyers, first time home buyer ask me. For example, what to expect when buying a home, okay? What the buying, when home buying process, the first step, what is different between pre-approval and pre-qualification. You can get access to all of that, by this QR code right here. The next gift I'm going to give it to you is how to buy a house without a 20% down payment. In this buyer guide, I provide you all the trends, all the insight of the current market, because I think one of the most important reason why I can make the right decision is based on the market data, not based on, you know, um, someone else saying, on social media about the condition of the house, the market, right? So the current trend is very important to know, and that showing you some tips and tricks for you to buy the house as well. And this will be provided to you for free. Just scan the QR code here, and then finish the opt-in page. Okay. Now let's go to the decision number one. Okay, because with that, I think this is a very important decision that you have to make before you can buy the house. Okay, it's called stack your saving. Okay, so this is critical because um, let me tell you a story first before I go through the reason. Okay, when I came to the US, there are many things that I learned the first time. Okay, I learned that people drive car to work and school on regular basis. In Vietnam, we have to ride motorbike, or maybe sometime as a kid like me, I do have to do like a bicycle as well, or even walk. Okay, a car here in the US is the typical, is not luxury. A car in Vietnam, you can buy a car, but the tax is almost impossible to pay. It's like 300% of tax. Okay, so in a car in the US is a must. Also, I learned that seat belt is required. In Vietnam, we don't even know how to use it. I also learned that like KFC was not the only fried chicken. When I left the country, Vietnam, I actually have 21 KFC in one night. Okay, before I go. That's how craving for KFC I was in Vietnam. And then when I come here, it's a completely different taste. And okay, anyway, it's a different story. Believe me, it would be a luxury for a kid and teenager to have KFC when in Vietnam. Okay, I also learned that we have to respond to how are you is not always I'm fine, thank you, and you. The reason is that in textbooks, right, there's only one thing. Anytime that I hear how are you, I have to respond I'm fine, thank you, and you. There's no like I'm not good. Uh, you know, can you tell me that? Okay, so it has to be only one way. Okay, and most importantly, I learned that you don't have to pay cash when buying a house in the US. Surprise. You may feel surprised right now because you already familiar with the concept of mortgage. But in Vietnam, almost 100% of home buyer back in Vietnam have to pay 100% by cash when they buy the house. And that cause extremely difficult for young generation like me to have a dream of buying a house. Most of us live with parents even until after they get married, right? Because there's no concept of taking a mortgage. Believe it or not, I used to live in a house. This is maybe like a long time story when I was like 3 or 4 years old. When I used to, and I don't even remember, but my mom told me that we used to be that. Okay, I used to live in a house with 2 stories, right? About 100 square feet. Okay, with 18 people, including 5 different families living together. By the way, we only have one bathroom, and that bathroom is sitting right on top of the sewer line. All right, but anyhow, my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, we live all together because none of us have enough money to afford for our own house. Okay, even after 6 years in the US, I still thought we need to pay 100% by cash because that is what we've been teach and what we've been observing, right? Lucky for me, when I graduated from college, I talked to one of my mentors back then, and he happened to be a realtor also. He taught me that to be able to buy a house, you don't need 100% by cash. As long as you save up for some money for the down payment, you can take the loan for the rest and make the monthly payments. And that opened my mind about the first step on ownership, and in which you don't need a fortune to start. You just need a plan and a financial discipline. Okay, it's very important. It's just not the down payment. I know that my mentor teach that only a down payment, but the key word is that I'm able to make the monthly payment. So to be able to do that, I have to have the plan and the discipline, financial discipline, because otherwise I can get a house and then it become a nightmare, and then I have to sell the house or it become a foreclosure house. There's so many situations that I see that people rush into buying a house without going this step and becoming, homeless later on, and maybe foreclosure, maybe bad credit because of that situation. Okay, so how do you come up with the financial plan? Great question. Okay. That is exactly the reason why I'm teaching you the 7 step right here. Number one, okay, you have to know the income, income that you have on a monthly basis. Okay. Some people do the work and then they never know how much they make on the regular basis, how much they collect back. This is the money that you collect back after all the taxes and after all the expense, all the business expense, if you are the business owner, right? You have to know on the regular basic, on the monthly basic, how much you get. And some people ask me, Long, what if I'm the business owner? How do I know this for sure? Well, great. I know the unstable of the income, right, can go up and down, but at least do an average for 12 months, previous 12 months, how much you do, and use that as an estimate. This one also, including all other incomes that you may potentially have, including maybe child support that you have, including any stock dividends that you may have, maybe including your spouse income as well. Okay, all together as a family. So that's number one. Number two is you have to know your expenses. Surprise, right? After the in, you have to know the out. You earn 10,000 a month, you spend 11,000 a month, we may have a problem, right? But we earn 10,000 a month, we only spend 7,000 a month, we have 3,000 extra for houses. That's good, right? So you need to track all the basic expense, all the must, to be able to determine, okay, worst case scenario, this is how much we have extra for the housing. Whether we have extra for the housing or not, also another important factor to find out, right? So that's the second step, and that's the reason why is leading to creating the budget. Okay, creating the monthly budget is very, very critical. I mean, as I told you, after we know the income inside, after we know the expense, all right, to be able to become a homeowner, you have to have a budget. You may or may not have the money for the down payment yet, okay? And that's going to be the next step. But the budget is the way for you to control it, to allocate the appropriate, asset to the appropriate expense that you have. Why do we have to allocate the money? Well, to save up, to stack your saving, right? The first saving goal should be $1,000. And a lot of people stop here and say, why $100,000? Okay. For me, I think this is by the way, this concept right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I actually didn't come up to myself by myself. I actually, use the strategy from Dave Ramsey, um, who I lucky to know, and get rid of all of my debt back then. But anyway, the reason why saving for 1,000 is not too much and it's not too little. We don't want it to be too little and then it's too easy for you to do and you don't do it. Right? Maybe you do too fast and you know uh, you don't have any motivation. But if it is too much, then it's the opposite, right? You may not ever be able to finish. It takes forever. So 1,000 is not too small, not too big, and it could be done. Make the goal as well for to be done within 2 months. I encourage 2 months or 3 months at the maximum. Okay, because it has to have time bound. If you do like 12 month period for 1,000, is you may not be able to buy a house in 10 years. That's not worth it, right? 2 or 3 months. Make that as a goal, and use the budget as a tool for you, to allocate the monthly saving towards the first 1,000. Remember, this is just the first, so that's you need to act fast as well. Some people may say, long 3 months is too short. I cannot. Well, try your best because this is only the start. Okay. If you cannot do this, then it's going to be difficult for you to do next step. Okay. Well, next is the down payment. The next is the down payment. That going to be more. Okay. And here's a lot of people think that you need to 20%. Okay. You don't. Some people, I mean, depend on the loan program, you may be able to qualify for a 0% down payment, although I highly not recommend this. Okay. If you don't have skin in the game, in the house, then more likely that you're going to give up on the house. Okay. Remember, think about it. If you don't have to spend anything, I mean, I know you have to make the monthly payment, but you may, you may use that like, oh, I have to pay the rent anyway, so it doesn't matter. You're gonna give up on the house, and the house becomes the nightmare. I don't want that to any client of mine to happen. Okay, so even though you can do this, I highly recommend not to do that. Okay, at least 3 to 3.5%. Okay, better is 10%, but I think 5% is a reasonable amount to ask. Okay, I think 10% is a reasonable amount, and sorry, this, I don't know why. 5% is a reasonable amount. Some of you may ask, how much is the 5%? Great, it depends. The answer is it depends. The reason why it depends is that it depends on the house. It depends on the area that you search for. For Arizona, if you want to go to, from Chandler, a very hot area, it could be around 450 to 500. If you go to a less popular area, maybe Buckeye or Maricopa, maybe it's around 300, 350,000, right? So it really depends. My best advice is sit down with a real estate agent, talk to them about what you need for the future, transparent that, hey, I'm not ready yet. I just want to talk to you about, the potential budget that I need to buy a house and everything. Can you help me with, allocate how much 5% is? Okay. And that could be the target for you, and make the time bound for that, 5% down payment as well. The last step in that, in the 6-step series, is getting approval. Okay, so my so those are the 6 steps in terms of getting the loan, getting your financing ready. My exercise for you is to create the monthly budget and get approved. Okay, to create a monthly budget is the first step, and when you're ready to get approved, talk to a loan officer. Okay, so that is the first step in the home buying process. You have to, not just get approved. I didn't say that you just get approved, but also, saving for money and increasing the ability to save up for money and make it a better financial, more ready financial for you. Okay. The second non-negotiable decision that you have to make is to buy your first house, to select the right house. Okay. And this is causing a lot of people to worry about, because how do I select the right house, right? So here, another story that I have is this. When I buy my first house as well, I'm very, little of experience and naive as well. I actually don't know, right? Remember, I told you I don't even know that I can take mortgage. Okay. But then after to talk to my mentor, and he told me about taking the mortgage thing. That's great. Let's go buy a house. The only criteria is 250,000. I'm not sure why. Okay. Maybe the reason why is that I have the money, like the 3% for that. No, 5%. Yeah, a little bit 5% for that. Okay. I have the 5%. So 250. Okay. Then we review several homes in the area, and we don't really like anything. Okay. Sometimes it's too far away from my workplace. One of the criteria I came up with after somehow see how some houses is, when we need to find a house that closer to work, my engineering company. Okay, we didn't feel like it, but it's too old, right? Some of them is closer, but it's too old. And then we discover something new as well during the process. Actually, a new build home. Okay, for those of you who, the difference between a new build home and the resale is you buying from a current homeowner, versus a new build home is you can actually choose your floor plan, you can choose your design, and you can build from, from dirt, based on the layout and the design that you like. Okay, and that's actually changed the respective of us, of me and my fiance, now my wife, about viewing the house. Okay, we do like the design, we do like everything inside, so we shift to the new construction. Okay, we visited a community in Gilbert. Okay, and immediately fell in love with it. The community has like green grass areas, park, uh, neighborhood is nice. As you turn into the neighborhood, the two, three lights, welcoming the buyers. We fell in love. We went to the motorhome, fell in love with that right away, and quickly choose a lot, and decide to make an appointment to go, see the sign the contract tomorrow, right away, right away. We didn't even think. One of the most important criteria that we have is getting closer to work. And Gilbert is the opposite of work. So if we choose this house, it's actually 15 minutes more of, commute. But I think, that doesn't matter. I'm so tired of finding a house. This is great. Just do it. Right? Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, well, here's the thing. It turns out that, later that night, my parents want to visit the community. Oh, that's fine, they want to visit, sure. I told them that we can drive them there. When we visit the community, there's a strong smell from a nearby dairy farm. And at that time, if you're familiar with the Arizona geography, East Mark area right now used to be a large dairy farm. Okay. And all the smell from that area going to the area in Gilbert that we looked at, smell was, we didn't smell anything in the morning, but it is extremely unpleasant at night. Okay. My wife decided to cancel the contract right away. I think that is actually a very good luck, because if we choose, like I said, if we choose that, I have to spend about 45 minutes one way without traffic to go to work in North Phoenix and come back. It could be a potential nightmare. But the major lesson is this, okay? Buying a home alone without guidance is a risk and overwhelm. Okay. Um, the fact is that, we do have to have a criteria, and we didn't have, okay, uh, anything. So my your first house, remember this, is not your dream home. I know a lot of you think this first house is dream home, but the fact is, it could be a wealth engine as well. So you have to be flexible. Uh, uh, you have to think of it as a way to grow your family. You have to come up with some criteria that, you know you stick with. My first home, I didn't have that clear criteria. I didn't have the, the appropriate way to see houses. That's the reason why I it took me, I think, 6 months or more. I don't remember exactly, but more than 6 months to choose the right house, to finally choose the right house, not the one in Gilbert, but the one, in Glendale is the right house for me. And that's actually causing, like, creating a lot of wealth for me as well, which is another story that I want to tell. Okay, but here's the things that you can do. Number one, you have to clearly define the criteria. Okay, that is the number one important. You have to have a list of the must have in your home and the nice to have. For example, for me back then, the must have is the distance, the travel distance. See, even though I choose the one in Gilbert, I end up buying in Glendale because that is the must criteria. It is not in Glendale, but 30 minutes away from the work, right? Gilbert, because of emotion, I choose the one in Gilbert, but end up not choosing. Lucky for me, right? But then after 6 months of traveling back and forth to see houses, I end up choose Glendale. All right. So something is a must for your family has to meet that criteria before you make the decision. Something doesn't fit, don't do it. For example, if you know, uh, need the 3 bedroom, is a nice to have, right? The den. Okay, if you have the den, it's a nice to have. 3 bedroom and a den, an office is a nice to have. If it is not the must, then okay, some house you may be able to see the house without the office and with the office. So those are the two different things, right? And then make the commit to discover, see the house in the daily basic. Okay, on daily basic. The reason is that um, if you don't see it, okay, the chance that you will forget about it, especially you are very busy business owner as well, self-employed, right? You may be busy with everything else, and if you don't spend time, dedicated time for it, you will be forgetting about the process. And this is not like you're going to see the house in person. This is just like, check out the house online and see whether you have anything interest or not. But at the weekly basic, you make sure that you do at least one walkthrough. Okay, make that as a commitment, make that as a goal for the process, right? And on the monthly basic, you can make the decision to make an offer, right? Of course, if during the time, make sure that you give, like, ask question and give any feedback to the real estate agent who helps you out, so that they can fine tune the search. They can make the modification in the criteria so that you can choose the right time. Because most of the time, when this first come here, you may not have a lot of criteria up front, but as you see it online, you see it in person, as you do the offer, you may find out that maybe my criteria is no longer applicable, and that's the reason why you need to remodify everything. Okay, my homework for this, your homework for this, is to decide on your non-negotiable housing criteria. That's very important. Have a conversation with the family about that, to be able to, saving time in the future, if you when you're ready to go shopping for houses. Okay, so those are the two um, foundational, um, decision in terms of buying a house, buying the first house specifically. Like I said, I have a series of 7 decisions that can help you, buy one house and get the second one for free, get one for free. In the scope of today, I only spent time with you in these 2 decisions and didn't have much time to talk through the 7 step. If you are interested in, like I said, here's the two gift again about the buyer seminar. These are all the question regarding the home buying process, and then also the guide for you to not buying a house with 20% down as well. Um, and before I end here, I have a story for you. When I first moved from Vietnam to the US, okay, so this is another story. When I first moved to the US, I didn't tell you. Okay, I fast forward right away to the school and things like that. I barely spoke English. Okay, actually my grade in English in Vietnam, okay, I actually started school, I mean English, when I was in third grade in Vietnam, okay, which is about 8 years old. And when I left the country about 20 years old and 6 months, is about 12 years, right? My grade for the entire 12 years I was in school is like 2 or 3 in a row, two or three out of 10. Okay, we in Vietnam we create the exercise and an exam in a scale from 1 to 10. One is the smallest and 10 is the highest. I always do 2 or 3. Okay, but then when I was lucky that I able to get into Marshalls, the department store. For those of you who don't know Marshalls, TJ Maxx is another, same company, or maybe Ross is a competitor's company. If you don't know what Marshalls is, a pregnant woman approached me and asked, "Hey, where is the maternity section?" I was like, maternity, huh? Thinking in my head. I had no idea what that means. Okay. Um, so I guess I try to be creative and I try to get some clue from her. I don't want to say, I don't know, sorry. And I keep saying, I don't know. It's embarrassing, right? I'm trying to be helpful. So I asked her, is that for man or for woman? And she was like, she smiled and pointed to her belly. Okay. And at that moment was like even more embarrassing for me. But it also was my wake up call. Okay. I decided that every single day I would talk to someone, either coworkers or customer or even my boss. Okay. The more I struggle, the stronger English I got. Over the next, the 4 years after that, those daily confidence, conversation built my confidence in addition to, college as well. Then I finished my school, as you know, I earned my master degree. I attend interview, several interview. I got work as a uh, engineer at first, and then becoming a project engineer. Now, of course, business owner as a real estate agent. So here's my point. If a person who started with almost no English, no money, now a business owner, leading a real estate team with 2 houses under my belt, then you can achieve your dream too. Your home is built with the decision, with one small decision at a time, and it starts today. So if you are interested in learning more or having a right strategy for your home buying process, feel free to book a call with me. Okay, I will customize the plan for you. Go through maybe not the whole 7 step, the 7 decision, but the whole 4 decision to hope to get you into your first house within the next 3 months. Okay, that is a customized plan, and I'm more than happy to talk to you by any means. Even if you are not ready, even if you are not even have the down payment yet, I will make the plan for you to have the down payment, to save up for the down payment. I'm not giving you it. Okay. I don't think it's a good idea for you to receive money as a down payment. I think you have to save up for yourself to be having the financial mind that you are the responsible person. Okay, so I can make all the plan for you. Schedule a strategy call with me. Okay, more than happy to talk to you, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.